it's struggling. How do I kind of water the plant that is myself?
Yeah.
You all do it. I do it with them.
Yeah.
I show them what I've gone through. I show them what I've not gone through. You know, I kind of like, I keep ideas and then like, okay, well, I'm going to have to talk to my kids about this at some point. But you cannot, and I learned this, I think, coming out of my last relationship, was like, you cannot compartmentalize things.
Yeah.
You can't say, this is my job, stay away from it. You can't say, these are my kids, I'm going to wait to introduce you to them. Like, it's all very convoluted and messy, and it's all about, I think, how well you manage the mess more than anything else. Because you can't, if you compartmentalize things, this is my relationship, these are my kids, this is my job, like,
it almost becomes like a house of cards. You can focus a little bit more on each individual thing, but because it doesn't necessarily interact with the other things, it almost like it starves each thing of what it could have gotten from all the other things. Kind of loses like the humanity of the entire situation in a way, huh?
Absolutely. And that's probably one of the things that destroyed the last relationship I was in. Yeah.
I think I'm curious, you know, we started this by talking a lot about, you know, the black belt and how it doesn't necessarily confer a, you know, sense of
being a good human
just by the process of getting it. So I'm curious, like, that's an observation that I think comes to terms, like someone practicing jiu-jitsu comes to terms with over a handful of years. It's not necessarily something they realize immediately. Most of the time people walk in and they just kind of defer to, you know, whoever's instructing them, especially if they have a black belt, especially if they've been a black belt for a long time. And I'm curious if that understanding of like the title doesn't equate good person or the not good person, but necessarily all the best qualities, the perfect example.
Yeah.
Is that also something that is worth teaching your kids? That just because you're the parent doesn't mean that you're
absolutely.
an ideal.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously nobody's perfect, but I see it a lot. I think maybe because I'm kind of cynical, but I also have this confidence about me, outward facing, that like, I don't really care what people think of me very much. You know, I want people to like me, of course, and they like me on the merits of my jiu-jitsu, and they but like language, for example, I have the world's worst language. I am vulgar, and I've never hidden that from my kid. One of my friends was in the academy the other day, and he called his kid, and he was like, "Oh, you know, such and such, go ahead and collect your things." I'm like, I don't think I've ever said collect your things to my kids. I've always told them, hey, we have to leave right now. Get your shit together. Get your shoes on. Get in the car. Like, it's always been that way. It's always been like raw in a way. And my kids look at like other parents and they're like, oh, that kid's never been sworn at before. Like, you can tell that kid's never been called a fucking idiot.
So
I say that all the time.
Some people would push on that and say something like, they would say part of parenting is not exposing your kids to, you know, foul language, not saying the F word around them or like cussing at them or whatever. And yet, you know, in a way, what you're saying is, this isn't a necessary box to check to raise good kids and good human beings and be a good human being. No. And you're almost exposing them in a way of saying like, this is veneer. This isn't as important as other people say it is.
Absolutely not. I think that, or I mean, wait, maybe absolutely. Yeah, I have, look, I was worried, and I stick to language because I talk a lot, and you probably tell, but it's my job to talk a lot. But it's the way that we convey things. I used to work with an old World War II veteran. He was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge. And he told me, I was a kid when I was working with him, and I think I read it someplace else later on too. I can't exactly accredit to the right person, but he goes, "There's a big difference in the military between get your fucking rifle and get your rifle. When you have this sense of relaxation about it, you can be more vulgar. You can convey the way you convey it is just different. When you cut everything out and you make everything clean, it's in urgency at that point. So like today, not that I'm saying this is the right way to raise your kids, but today when I look at my son who's been like mouthing off or having all this problem, I look at him and I say, get your shoes on. He stops what he's doing, he gets his shoes on. Whereas if I swear at him, get your goddamn shoes on, get fucking shoes on. Like, where are your shoes? Where are your, he just laughs it off.
Right.
And I was worried about him taking this vulgarity into his day-to-day life, especially since we sent him to like a Presbyterian like preschool.
Perfect place for a child like that.
One of the things I constantly say to my kid is, if you don't listen to me, Jesus is going to stop loving you. I say that all the time. And I'm just waiting for the first kid to push him around on the playground, and he's going to be like, Jesus is going to stop loving you. I've had zero problems. They know there's dad's language when he drives, and then there's the stuff I can say.
Okay.
And I think hiding something like that, it robs them of the ability to make a decision about what is right and wrong for them. Kids, there's another thing that people say all the time. Why would you let your kid do that? I don't let my kid do anything. My kid does things. He's his own individual. Especially as you watch them grow, you'll see your son's personality like come out.
Yeah.
Right now, he's just a blobfish.
Yeah, that's true. A very, very cute one.
And yes, he is a very cute blobfish. But he knows nothing other than to just eat.
Yeah, he stays places. When I put him down, I'm like, you'll be there when I come back.
Yeah.
And he is, because he can't move.
Yeah. That will change. But they have a sense of right and wrong, whether you've instilled it in them or not. And I think when you hide negative experiences from them, you kind of rob them of the opportunity to make a decision for themselves. So my way of looking at it is, I'm going to let him make a decision, and we'll work on it together at that point. He's going to go to school, and he's going to say some shit. Margot, my daughter, she's going to go to school, and she's going to make some decisions. When those decisions come back at me, then I can sit down and say, okay, well, this is a learning experience. This is why we did it this way. I try as often as I can to ask my kids what they think. Oftentimes they're morons because they're children, but we talk about that.
I just love that quote. I love that so much. Oftentimes they're morons because they're children.
They are. Like, they haven't had a chance to progress.
Sure.
I hope you don't get canceled for me calling people morons.
No, you're fine.
So,
I'm uncancelable.
Uncancelable. Fantastic.
So are you.
Oh, no, we're not. Oh, I ever not. There's a line that I can cross, but yeah, the jiu-jitsu community can turn on you quickly.
That is
today.
A good point. That is a good point.
But I don't know if I adopted this attitude because of the divorce, or this was my attitude that my dad and my mom give me. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm just smarter than my parents, which is what I'm really hoping for, because
we want the generations to progress. That's really what it's all about.